Good afternoon, everyone. I am Charmaine Reponte, and today I'll be reporting the item 305 and 306. The 305 bituminous penetration macadam pavement. And the description, this item shall consist of furnishing and placing one or more courses of graded aggregates and one or more application of bituminous material, followed by a seal coat with cover aggregate constructed on a prepared base. The penetration macadam is a wavy material consisting of crushed stone in two sizes bound together by asphalt or tar. In this type of bituminous road, the aggregates are bound together by grouting bitumen into the voids of the compacted aggregate. So, what is grouting or grout is a composite material generally consisting of water, cement, and sand. It is typically used for filling voids under machines or other structural elements. Bituminous penetration macadam or grout is used as a base or binder course. The bitumen penetrates into the voids from the surface of the compacted aggregates, thus filling up a part of the voids and binding some stones aggregates together. When the bitumen penetrates full depth of compacted aggregates, it is called full grout macadam. When the bitumen penetrates about half depth of compacted aggregates, it is called semi-grout macadam. The coarse aggregate are first spread and compacted well in dry state, and after that the bituminous binder of relatively high viscosity is sprayed in fairly large quantity at the top, and that is the summarization of this item. Next is 305.2 Material Requirements. 305.2.1 The quantities of material. The quantities of material and sequence of the operation is given in the table. The following are the types of aggregates and sequence operation. We have in here in the first layer composing of spreading aggregates, coarse aggregate, choker aggregate, applying bituminous material, and so on to the second layer to fourth layer. Along with them in the table are the type of bituminous material and the quantities to be used, the asphalt, cement, and the emulsified cement. Asphalt cement is simply an asphalt dissolved in petroleum, while the emulsified asphalt is a suspension of asphalt in water by using an emulsifying agent such as soap, in which one imposes an electrical charge on asphalt particles so that they will join and cement together. 305.2.2 The bituminous material. Bituminous material or bitumen is a solid, semi-solid, or viscous cementitious material, binder or natural or manufactured and composed of hydrocarbons. Bitumen is usually fairly hard at normal temperature and soften and flow when heated up. When the bituminous material is mixed with aggregates in their hot fluid state and then allowed to cool, they solidify and bind the aggregates together, forming a pavement surface. The bituminous material to be used shall be either the following: the asphalt cement, rapid curing RC, or the emulsified cement. The asphalt cement. Asphalt cement is a strong, versatile, and weather and chemical resistant binding material that adapts itself into a variety of uses, perhaps most commonly to bind crushed stones and aggregates into firm, tough surface for roads, streets, and airports runways. Next is the rapid curing RC. Rapid curing RC Catback asphalt cement is a combination of light diluent with high volatility, typically in the gasoline or naphtha boiling point range, and asphalt cement. The RC grades are designed to react quickly and are primarily used in spray application, such as bond top coats, aggregate, ship seals, and sand seals, granular priming, and similar surface treatment. That is the commonly used of rapid curing or RC. Emulsified asphalt. Emulsified asphalt is simply a suspension of small asphalt cement globules in water, which is assisted by an emulsifying agent such as soap. It imposes an electrical charge on asphalt particles so that they will join and cement together. The next item is the 305.2.3 the aggregate. The coarse aggregate shall be crushed stone, crushed slag or crushed gravel, and choker material, key rock, and copper aggregate shall be crushed or broken as well. Crushed gravel or crushed boulders or stream coarse or coarse sand. Coarse aggregate are generally categorized as rock larger than the standard number, while the choker course is of 0.5-inch aggregate, and the aggregate shall have a mass percent of wear not exceeding 40. When crushed slag is used, it must be uniform density and quality, and shall have the density not less than 1,120 kg/m³. 305.3 Requirements 305.3.1 Weather Limitation. To achieve the best result in applying bituminous material, the aggregate should be fully dry and the atmospheric temperature is in the shades of 50 degrees Celsius or above. The 305.3.2 Equipment. Some of the materials to be used shall include the hand or power-operated brooms, shovels, rakes, self-powered autonomous material distributor or hand or power-operated spray pumps, broom dragging equipment, and self-powered rollers. These are some of the equipments that we'll be needing in the autonomous penetration macadam pavement. Next item 305.3.3 Conditioning of existing base. Before spreading the aggregate, the base shall be cleaned of all the loose foreign materials and the existing base shall be swept until it is embedded, the large aggregate is exposed, or in the case of previously constructed asphalt surface, until the surface is free of mud or other covering. It is important that before proceeding to the next application of any courses or bitumen, the former existing base shall be free from any materials or anything that can damage or delay the next application. The next item, 305.3.4 Spreading and compacting of aggregate layers. The following information is a summarized version of what is found in the Blue Book, page 103. All areas with non-uniformly graded aggregate shall be removed and replaced with suitable materials before the rolling begins. The type of aggregates required in the order of spreading shall be placed in the required amount of approved aggregate spreaders or by other approved mechanical methods. The aggregate shall be dry rolled until it is compacted and keyed. Materials which are crushed excessively under the rollers or become segregated shall be removed and replaced with suitable aggregate. The aggregate shall be tamped thoroughly with mechanical tamper or hand tampers in places that are not accessible to the rollers. The surface of the aggregate layers will be tested by an engineer using a 3-meter straight edge at selected location. 305.3.5 Application of bituminous material. The bituminous material shall be uniformly applied at the rate specified in the table 305.1. So this is the table and this is already discussed earlier. The quantities of bituminous material that to be applied shall conform to the table, and during the application of the bituminous material, care shall be taken to prevent spattering of adjacent pavement structures and trees. The distributor shall not be cleaned, and this is an important note that the distributor shall not be cleaned or discharged into the ditches, borrow pits, or shoulders the right of way. Next. 305.4 Method of payment. Bituminous material and aggregate for bituminous penetration macadam payment will be measured by ton. The quantity to be paid for shall be the number of tons of bituminous material and aggregate used and accepted in the complete work. The basis of payment. The payment of each material will be paid by unit measurement by ton. Price and payment shall be full compensation for furnishing and placing all materials and for all labor, equipment, tools, and incidents necessary to complete this item. So the method and the basis of the payment will be measured by ton, and it is based on the tons of autonomous material and aggregate used and accepted in the complete work. Next. Next item is the 306, the bituminous road mix surface course. 306.1 The description. This item shall consist of constructing a bituminous road mix surface course on a prepared base in accordance with the specification and in conformity with the lines, grades, and typical cross-section shown on the plans are as established by the engineer. The road mix surface or the double bituminous surface treatment described as a common type of pavement construction which involves two applications of asphalt binder material and mineral aggregate, usually less than 19 mm or 3/4 inch thick placed on a prepared base. Next, 306.2 Material Requirements. 306.2.1 Bituminous Material. The bituminous material shall be either the rapid curing cutback, medium curing cutback, or emulsified asphalt. Whichever is called for in the bill of quantities, it shall conform to the requirements of item 302 of bituminous material, and these are the materials that can be used in a bituminous road mix surface course. Next. Item 306.2.2 Aggregate. The aggregate shall conform to applicable requirements of item 703, and we have two types of aggregate in this item: new aggregate and salvage aggregate. The term new aggregate refers to aggregates that have never been utilized before, while the salvage aggregates or recycled aggregates come from reprocessing materials that have previously been used in construction. Any particles of salvage aggregate appearing in the surface at the time of laying down and finishing that will not pass the 37.5 mm sieve shall be removed. Next item. Item 306.2.3 Proportioning of mixture. The proportion of bituminous material on the basis of total dry aggregate shall be from 4.5 to 7 mass percent when cut bulk asphalt is used, while 6 to 10 mass percent when emulsified asphalt is used. The density of the aggregate is required in the mixture proportioning to establish the weight-volume relationship. For the purpose of mixture proportioning, it is important to know the space occupied by the aggregate particles, including the pores within the particles. Next. On a dry aggregate basis, up to 1/2 to 1% mass percent of hydrated lime may be added to the dry aggregate mix, while the aggregate with high calcareous content are subject to a lower percent restriction. Calcareous are compounds of calcium and magnesium, and these are some of the examples of the calcareous, or whatever you pronounce. These are its example. Next. 306.3 Construction Requirements. 306.3.1 The Weather Limitation. The construction of bituminous road mixed pavement must be complete only when the surface on which the material will be placed is completely dry, when the weather isn't foggy or rainy. So this is the item 306 weather limitation. It shouldn't be foggy or rainy. Next. 306.3.2 Construction Equipment. The equipment used by the contractor shall include the scarifying, mixing, spreading, and finishing and compacting equipment, a bituminous distributor, and equipment for heating bituminous material. The first is the scarifying machine. These machines are great for removing coatings and creating level space free of bumps and leaves. The mixing machines. This is the mixing machine. It's a device that combines cement, aggregates such as sand or gravel, and water to form a concrete. Next equipment is the spreading machine. It is designed to convert lifting loads into pure compressive force and also spread apart the legs of a sling. Next is the compacting equipment. Compacting equipment is they prepared for flattening asphalt roads, but they also work great for created sand, crushed rock, and gravel. Next is the bituminous distributor. Bitumen pressure distributor are used to uniformly spread excuse me. Bituminous pressure distributor are used to uniformly spread asphalt cement before the asphalt mix is laid out. And the last is the heat blasting machine. The heat blasting machine unit is designed for fast heating of the road surface. It can be used for drying the surface before road making or heating asphalt joint edge during the road construction. Next. Next item is the 306.3.3, the preparation of base. We have two cases in preparation of base in this, the case 1 and the case 2. The case 1 is the new aggregate. When new aggregate is to be used for the road mixed surface course, the existing base should be stratified lightly and bladed to uniform grade and to the cross section. The case 2 is the salvage aggregate. The existing road to surface will be stratified lightly and bladed to uniform grade into the cross-section shown in the plans. The reshaped surface shall be then scored again to the depth required for it to be suitable for driving on, and the loosened material shall be bladed aside into windrow at the side of the road. Next is Item 306.3.4, the placing aggregates. The aggregate that is placed on the surface must be uniformly spread on the surface by the use of spreader boxes or other mechanical spreading devices. When two or more sizes of aggregates are used, each size of aggregate shall be placed in the proper amount to provide for surfacing of the required width and thickness. Again, when two or more different aggregates are used, the aggregate should be placed in a proper location and a proper amount to provide the right width and the thickness. Next is Item 306.3.5, the application of bituminous material. The application of bituminous material shall be uniformly distributed in successive application. The mixing equipment shall follow immediately behind the distributor after each application of bituminous material to partially mix the aggregate. Next is the mixing. The entire mass of bituminous material and aggregate shall be windrown on the door surface. It shall then be mixed by blading and mixture from side to side or by manipulation, producing equivalent results. Mixing process shall be confined to a part of the weather area of the road so as to allow traffic to pass. If the mixture shows an excess, deficiency, or uneven distribution, bituminous material, the condition shall be corrected by the addition of aggregate or bituminous material as required and remixing. And when the mixing operation have been satisfactorily complete, the mixture shall be formed in a windrow of uniform cross-section. And lastly, the spreading of the mix shall not be done when the surface is to be covered is in the unsatisfactory condition. That is the process on how you mix. Next is the 306.3.7, spreading, compacting, and finishing. The material shall be spread by self-propelled pneumatic tar-bladed grater, and the rolling should begin at the road's margins and work its way towards the center, except on super-elevated curves where rolling progress from the lower to the upper edge. Rolling shall rolling shall overlap on successive passes by at least one-half the width of the roller. The rolling shall continue until the surfacing is of the uniform texture and satisfactory compaction is obtained. When the compacted thickness of the road mixed surface is to be more than 50 mm, the mixture shall be spread from the windrow and compacted in two layers. The first layer should be bladed and rolled before the second layer is spread. While the surface is being compacted and finished, the contractor shall now trim the edges neatly to line. Next. 306.3.8, the surface requirements. Surface requirements should be specified in subsection 307.3.11, except that the permissible surface variance will be 10 mm and 3 meter. In the method of measurement, the bituminous material and aggregate for bituminous road mixed surface course will be measured by ton also. The weight of all the moisture in the aggregate will be deducted from the bake quantity due to the possible variation in the specific gravity of the aggregate. The ton used may vary from the proposed quantities. Next, 306.5, basis of payment. The contract unit price for bituminous road mixed surface course, which price and payment shall be full compensation for furnishing materials, handling, mixing, hauling, placing, rolling, compacting, labor, equipment, tools, and incidentals necessary to complete this item. So the basis of payment of all the labors and the materials will be in the full compensation and will measured by ton. That's all. That's the end of our report. Thank you for listening. If you do have any question, please don't hesitate to reach us. Thank you.